Hello, we are officially live. I am Julia,
Hi.
community manager on Dead by Daylight, and beside me, I will let him introduce himself.
Yes, I am Matthew, game director on Dead by Daylight. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you into our house because obviously we're doing this from home today.
Yep, I too
Please,
am in my living room.
yeah, please bear with us. We're making this happen with mostly magic and the help of Marilou in the background.
Absolutely. It's obviously not a big studio stream, and we're going to keep things pretty casual around here today since we can't all be together, but we did not want to miss hopping onto stream and celebrating our big day.
That's it. So just to make sure everybody's on the same page here, uh, DBD Mobile just went live. That's insane.
That's
I
huge.
remember almost a year ago, we were going around and telling journalists, yeah, we've decided to do this crazy thing where we're going to put Dead by Daylight on a mobile phone. And people were thrilled and excited about it. But today, every single person that owns a phone can, well, almost, if you have the right phone, you can get in and actually get your dose of Dead by Daylight with you wherever you go.
For sure. You can actually go and download it right now from the Google Play Store or the App Store. Pro tip, if you get it downloading right now, you will be all set to start playing after the stream ends.
There you go. Yes, there is a patch once you get the. Well, it's classic. I mean, it's a big game. There's a lot of stuff. That's probably the first thing we can mention. Actually, is that everything you've seen in Dead by Daylight, if you've ever watched people play or if you've played yourself, everything is in there. It's the exact same game that we've transitioned onto mobile.
It's incredible. We've made some small changes to just fully optimize it for the mobile experience, and we'll get a little bit more into that. We're going to show you some gameplay and talk about it. First, we had a lot of questions when I prompted for questions about the pre registration campaign. So we set a pretty lofty goal a little while back, and we said, okay, if you guys can get to 1 million pre registrations for this game, we are going to give you a lot of free stuff. We're going to give you a lot of customizations. We're going to give you enough iridescent shards to buy an entirely new character. And we are going to bring you Bill as well for free on launch day, and I am absolutely blown away. We hit the 1 million, so everybody who is playing Dead by Daylight Mobile is going to get these rewards. So a lot of them are already rolling into games. If you open up the game, you'll start seeing them appearing in your inventory. Um, it can take a little while to roll out, so don't be alarmed if not everything's there right away. Just give it a little bit of time and check back, and you'll be all set.
Yeah, and I see some people mentioning some of the specific outfits and things like that. Yeah, uh, all the content that you've seen on core on PC or on console are going to be making their way onto mobile. So I want to actually take a second to address the whole license thing because obviously. After 4 years of going strong, Dead by Daylight has amassed what amounts to be most of the legends of horror. Like this is the game where all the horror lives, and obviously we wanted to have them on your phone too. uh, some of these agreements that we had with our partners did not mention the mobile devices, obviously. So we needed to go back and talk to them and try to find different ways to arrange that. So not all of them are finalized, but there's no reason why any of them would be against it. It's just a matter of going back and having those talks. So for now, not all of these licensed characters are going to be present, but they'll come.
We do have a little bit of a compromise with them too. We know everybody really likes some of their perks, particularly barbecue and chili from the cannibal. Those perks are actually already in the game. Similar to what was done with Bill's perks when he wasn't available on all platforms, is they become general perks. So if you're playing the game and you level up, it's a bit of a different system for getting perks on mobile. You'll still be able to access those perks and play with them.
There you go.
Hmm.
Yeah. So there seems to be something flashing behind our images once in a while, Marino. Okay. So technical stuff is happening. Again, bear with us. We are doing this from our garage. We don't have a garage. I, but still. Uh, do we have a little bit of gameplay we want to look at right now?
We do. So
Okay.
I'm going to preface this with a bit of a disclaimer.
Ooh.
So this is footage we haven't seen yet. This is actually recorded on the live build with real people. One of our devs was kind enough to go and record one of his matches. So we're going to see him test his stuff live on stream for everybody to see. Uh, we also want to give a shout out to all of the streamers in the community that I hear are supporting us right now by hosting us, tweeting about us. We're so happy to have you supporting us as well. We know Dead by Daylight means a lot to all of you, and it means the world that you're supporting our mobile project as well.
I could not have said it better. But it's true. I mean, even on Dead by Daylight on PC and console, the streaming community, the content creators on YouTube and all the other platforms have been such a huge part of why we are all essentially able to live this dream of working on this game. As that's our actual job. Can't Yeah, it's crazy. But thanks to these people who work very very hard, who put their passion out there, and thank you for supporting us, and thank you for bearing with us, and we are gonna do everything we can to shower you with cool stuff in Dead by Daylight.
Absolutely. A big thank you also to our beta testers from the past, uh, gosh, almost a year now.
Yeah.
A lot of you have been sticking with us for a very long time, giving us feedback and support, helping us nab tricky bugs. Uh, your support has not gone unnoticed at all. We love how much you've been dedicated to our game, and we're pretty excited to be able to show you the worldwide official launch build.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! All right, let's
Yeah.
roll that gameplay.
And we can talk a little bit about the small differences you'll notice between the Dead by Daylight on PC console and the Dead by Daylight on mobile. One of the main things is obviously we know that most people with their phones may not be in the best situation for audio. Audio is such a huge part of Dead by Daylight and its experience, but on the phones, on the devices, some people either they're in a very distracting environment or they don't even have headsets. So we wanted to make sure that all the information you need to evade killers or to hunt the survivors down, all that information is still available, but it's in visual cues instead of audio cues. We're still keeping a very strong audio. If you want to enjoy it, it's absolutely there. But we're giving you a lot more visual cues as to the proximity of things, the timing of things.
For sure, you'll see a lot of those in this gameplay footage. I think pretty much everything that you would normally hear has been represented visually. So it's a little bit of a different experience, but it plays really smoothly even without any volume at all.
You can notice some of the differences also on the left side. You have that thumb joystick that's, I mean, pretty much common to most hardcore mobile games. And then you can see the skill check popping right now, which has a visual cue as to replace the ding of the skill check, and then you have to tap with your thumb in the exact same space. It's the same principle. You also see the button for the crouch that's there at the bottom there. So fortunately, Dead by Daylight has always been pretty much a two-button game, more or less. I mean, the idea was always to be able to play on a controller or with mouse and keyboard, but with minimal controls. And most of the actions are contextual, so you'll see those buttons pop up once in a while, and it's pretty straightforward how to get the results you're wanting out of it. You
All
can see
right,
it there,
one
the
generator done.
palette popping on the side when you're in range for it.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I wonder what killer we're playing against here. Like I said, I haven't seen this footage at all, so this
Uh,
entire match is new to
Someone's
us.
asking, what are the launch regions?
Oh, so the launch regions are Americas and EMEA right now. So the game is available in App Store and Google Play Store for all of those regions. As we put out in some communications a little while back, the Asian regions, they're going to be handled by NetEase. So they'll be releasing a little bit later, but they'll be starting to put out communications about how to uh, both transfer any existing beta accounts over, as well as signing up to play on their version of the game.
There you go. That's I'm just watching the chat. There's some funny people in there.
Always are.
Yeah. So the contents, like someone is asking about the new maps. I'm sorry. So all the content that you've seen in Dead by Daylight is there almost. I can you give me the details on the Chains of Hate? Are they in yet?
They are not in yet. That's something we're still
Okay.
working on optimizing for mobile, just to make sure everything runs smoothly, and the characters, especially like the Death Slayer with his unique
Yeah.
mechanic, making sure that they work seamlessly.
So that's something that obviously, when we talk about the porting the game to mobile, it's not just about the code running on those devices. It's mostly about making sure that the game plays well using the different controls and those different. The interactions are a little different. So some of the killer's power were really easy to translate, and some of them had to be fiddled with a little more. Uh, and so that experience now that we've built, we've got something like 15 killers translated, and we're doing the last few ones. And the idea is that the goal, at least the intention, is that once we manage to hit that stride and get everything done, we'll be able to release stuff at the same time on pretty much all platforms. It's sort of the same way we've done it with the consoles back when we released on Xbox One and PS4. uh, Everything was sort of always a little bit delayed. We had to make sure we understood better the the submission times and these kinds of things. But after a little while, we managed to get everything in sync. And now, when we release content, it's pretty much across the board the same for everyone. And that's the intention, at least, for this.
For sure, that's awesome.
Uh, hope there's plans for a version for older phones. That's a question we can address. Actually, it's always a very very tough conversation, this one, like, where do we draw the line? At which phones do we allow people to join in, and which phones do we know it's not going to work? We obviously, I mean, if in an ideal world, we want every single person in the world to be able to play Dead by Daylight. Obviously that's not possible. Uh, the 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 difficulty is, if we allow all the phones, then it means we need to crank the graphics and a lot of the visual and the audio, and even a lot of the stuff in there, we have to crank it down a lot so that everybody's on a level playing field. uh, so we have to draw the line at some point. We tried to be as inclusive as possible, but it's a big game. So yeah, there's some of the older phones out there might not be able to play, but I think we've been as generous as we could on this one.
It's something we've been slowly improving as well. Right at the start of the beta, there weren't as many devices we were able to support, but we did get a lot of feedback with people saying they would really like lower graphic settings, different you know measures so that they can play the game on a weaker phone. And we have come quite a long way with that. There's a lot of optimization being done. And just because we're launched doesn't mean that's something that's going to stop. We will still be working on trying to make it run as smoothly on as many devices as possible. It's just something we really can't make any promises on.
Of course. I think it's worth mentioning right now. You can see the heart of the character sort of glow back and forth, in and out, and that's the visual representation of the heartbeat that you hear, that's so familiar to Dead by Daylight players. Uh, I think it's a really cool way of representing it, and it stays so in line with the whole game, and hopefully keeping some of the immersion. Obviously, the idea of Dead by Daylight is to try to get you in there and to make you feel things, and I think that still works very well on mobile.
Yeah, I've always found it still instills that same amount of urgency. As
Yep.
soon as a killer's sneaking up on you, you don't know where he's coming from. you look around, your heartbeat's getting faster and brighter, and it makes me just as nervous as it does on PC or console.
Yeah, some people are asking about controller support. Like some people use controllers for their phones. Uh, at launch, we are not supporting controllers, but it's something that's been asked quite a lot. So we're gonna look at this very closely. It obviously it brings in the question of will it make things unfair if it's really easier to play with a controller compared to people who don't have one. But it's something we'll definitely look at and keep in mind. So for now, at launch, there's no controller support, but it's something that's going to keep being discussed. We'll let you know if things change on that.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely let you know.
Yeah. Uh, Cross progression. Oh yes,
Mm.
that's a very good question. So uh, there is no cross progression right now. There's no cross play either. The mobile version is completely separate from the others. Uh, it's obviously these are big subjects. I think that even taking a step back, talking about the industry as a whole, the idea of cross progression and cross play between all different storefronts and all different platforms is something that's going to become more and more common, and it's definitely something that we talk about internally. Uh, it's not supported at launch, but we're certainly not saying that it's not going to happen. Let's put it like that. I don't know if you want to add something to that, but
No, that was actually an excellent answer.
all right.
Speaking of progression, that's actually something we can talk a little bit about.
Hmm.
So the progression is different on mobile. It's designed to suit more of a mobile experience. So if you play the PC and console version, you're probably very used to the blood web, which is something you'll spend the blood points in game resources you gather to unlock items and perks and level up. So it's changed in mobile to something called the blood market. So this is where you spend blood points to purchase items, while all of the leveling and perks happens uh, by playing a character. So if you play a character, if you play a character well, meet all of your objectives, then you'll get experience points, which level you up, and you'll be able to unlock all the perks that way instead.
Yeah, and that brings me to something that's super obvious to us that keep talking about it, but we haven't mentioned yet. But the game is free to play, by the way. Uh, Go get it. It's free. You get the game. You start playing. It's a huge departure from the obviously the console and PC version, and the way we've made it. So no, to answer the question in chat, the game is not pay to win. It's something that we've never done. Actually, if anything, in the past, the first DLC we've ever released for Dead by Daylight was the 80s suitcase, and it was pay to lose. So we'll keep doing that with you know neon outfits. Uh, but free to play in this case means that you download the app, and what you get is, and now that's when you step in and tell me exactly what the offering is, because I can't remember. I think it's Dwight and the Trapper. Is that right?
So you'll start with eventually with three
Because obviously,
survivors and two killers. Yeah.
okay, I have more because I keep playing, so I don't remember what you start with. But so two killers, three survivors. If you want to get back to what you get on PC or console for the $20 that you pay, it's about $20 if you want to buy it outright, or you can actually unlock all the original content through playtime, right?
Exactly.
You'll be getting some some currency in game, and you'll be able to buy all the content that is original. The license con Okay, the license content is always going to be paid. Obviously, we have licensing partners, and they rightfully want to get paid for their licenses. That's fair,
That's
but
fair.
but and it's the same on PC and on consoles. Uh, but for the game, you can go out there and play the game for free and unlock stuff. Some people are talking about energy systems and things like that. That's a staple of mobile games. We didn't put that in. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, we could have. It's discussions that we've had. We were making a mobile game. It's something that's understood and it's very uh, common. But for us, it was critical that the game is well, we continue to be as generous as we can, which has always been one of the things. I mean, I think we had three rules at the beginning. It was always be as generous as we can, never pay to win, and then there was something else that we probably broke immediately. Oh yeah, we said that all the killers should have the exact same speed because we finally figured out the chase, and we were so happy about it. And then the first killer we released was the nurse, who
Oops.
teleports and then walks slower. So yeah, but the
Well, at
other
least
two
we kept the
rules
other
we
values.
haven't broken yet, and we won't. Uh, so there. Uh,
uh, oh, go ahead.
no, 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 please. I was just going to try to read some questions from the chat.
Okay, I was gonna touch on something similar to that. I know I've seen a lot of concerns going around online that it's gonna take a long time to catch up from no cross progression, and that's a concern. I definitely understand.
Yeah,
Uh, we do have like the pace you're used to on PC and console is not the same as you have on mobile. On mobile, we've got a lot of new and interesting ways to accrue resources, whether it's iridescent shards or auric cells to save up for those licensed characters. As soon as you log in, you're going to start getting some rewards just for starting the game, playing the tutorial. We have a very extended list of rituals you can complete every day and every week. So there are lots of ways to kind of catch up and
yeah.
get back into the game pretty easily.
That's a very good point. The progression is a little faster on mobile. It's slightly different too. So go check it out. I mean, it's like Dead by Daylight. If you're fans out there and you've been with us for years, you know that when you come in the first few days of Dead by Daylight, there's a lot to take in. It's a huge. I mean, it's a simple mechanic. It's a simple thing. It's hide and seek, like everybody's played when they were a kid. But it's such a huge deep well of all these perks and different powers and all these maps and all these different little subtleties that you can figure out as you go along, which is part of the fun. Uh, but that's it. So we want to make sure that you're brought in at a certain pace. We do understand that mobile gamers are probably a little faster or more impatient, a bit of both maybe. So we made sure that the progression is paced differently, and it works well. Uh, some people are asking where can you get the game? Well, on yeah, pretty
Go-
much everywhere. Do you
yeah,
want to do the
Google
the
Play.
sales pitch?
Sure, you can download it now on Google Play Store and App Store. Note that it is in Americas and EMEA regions right now. But if you are in that region, you can absolutely go download it right now. There are some cases where it might take a little longer to populate in your stores, uh,
It's true.
but just keep checking back if it's not available yet.
The
Few
other thing
minutes, few
also is
hours.
the way the stores are populated. Sometimes the list is it's not going to be the first thing that pops up because obviously these are the machine learning algorithms that are trying to figure out what you mean by that. And since Dead by Daylight was never an answer before today, then it might not be the first thing that pops up. So.
That's
Uh,
true. Yep.
is the Bloodpoint event active on mobile? That's
Oh,
someone asked.
yes, it is. It started not too long ago. So for the next week until next Wednesday, you'll be able to earn double
Hmm,
blood points, and you will also get double character XP.
there we
So
go.
again, it's a little bit different with the bit of a different progression system, but you'll get double of all the in-game resources. So you're all set. This is the perfect time to start leveling up characters, saving up blood points.
Yeah, time to grind, as someone very aptly put it.
It
Uh,
sure is.
I'm gonna go on a very slightly personal question. So, who's your favorite mobile killer to
Oh,
play with right now?
hmm. Personally, I really like playing the Wraith on mobile. He feels really good playing on
Ooh.
mobile. I also enjoyed him on PC, but he is still a favorite.
Okay, so it hasn't really changed.
It hasn't really changed. Honestly, he feels pretty similar. It's all of the same shenanigans, all of the same fun.
Okay, I think For me, the famously Hag main on PC, but on mobile, it's got to be the clown, and I'm not exactly
Mm.
sure why, but I think it just works so well. It's just so much fun in chases on mobile. So yeah, I think that's it. So I thought
Very cool.
that was an interesting question to ask.
It
Okay, what
is.
else? Uh, is there any way to transfer my shards? No, no. It's like we said, the progression, the entitlements, and the play actually is locked between mobile and the rest of the platforms at this point. Uh, yeah. Okay.
All
What
right.
else do we want to say? The game's out for everybody. Come play the game.
Go
Uh,
download it right now.
yeah, it's free to play. So you don't even need to pay. It's like free. You get it for no money, and you don't pay, and then you get the game and you start playing. It's just how it works.
And it's on
So
a phone. You can play it anywhere, literally anywhere.
if you have a phone, if not, well, I guess get a phone or don't get a phone. Really,
That
it's
is
your
a
call.
harsh prerequisite, but yeah, you're gonna need a
uh,
phone, but that's about it.
there you go. Other than that, I don't know. What else did we forget anything that was on our list of super important things to say?
Oh,
Uh,
I don't know. Let me pull out the list of
I
super
have to say
important things.
a huge a huge shout out to the team who did that. The mobile team is, first of all, they're super nice. They're really cool. It was a crazy ride, but it was delivered smoothly. The fact that, I mean, obviously we didn't announce the release date that far in advance, but on our own uh, side, even with the fact that most people are working remotely today, uh, I say most people, all people, like every single person is working from home today,
Yep.
and we still managed to ship this game on time. It's actually in a really good state right now. We're very happy. In part, thanks for the amazing team that worked on that, but also thanks to the beta testers and the people who helped along the way. So super awesome. Uh, and yeah, we managed to ship that from our own bedrooms for some people.
We did. Yep. Yeah, it's
uh,
a really, really exciting day.
What about the Shrine of Secrets? Uh,
Ah, that's a good question because we did mention in previous streams that it was something we'd like to put in the game. We don't have any more news for you at that time, but we definitely hear your feedback on that one. We know it's a really popular feature, and I don't know exactly what it'll look like in the future, but it's in the plans.
yeah, and go check out right now because the rituals page, for instance, I'm showing it. It doesn't matter. It's so too small. You can't really see it, but you should check it out. There's so many things like the rituals that are on PC, even with the archives. It's a completely different setup on mobile, and yeah, it manages to make me want to click buttons a lot more and come back. So there's the rhythm of the Shrine of Secret is it's there's no Shrine of Secret, but it's different, and you get a lot of stuff that you can unlock anyway. It's confusing and hard to talk about these things. Just go check it out. Seriously,
Yep.
what else
Download
do you
it
get to do?
now.
You're
Go check
home.
it out.
So yeah, thank you for taking the time to join us today. Thank you for taking the time to check this out. Hopefully, you go out there, get the game, and have fun. Julia is going to be there listening to you for the rest of, well, for the rest of forever. Uh,
Forever. Yep.
yeah.
The end of time.
So please give us your comments. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. We'll make notes in a little notebook. Uh, we want to hear from people who are excited. Oh yes, you can play with the devs because obviously the devs are playing.
Yeah. Us devs, we play our game.
Uh, what else do we want to say? I feel like I'm just ranting, but you have things to say.
I think that's basically it. We're gonna hop off the stream now. We're gonna load up the game on our phones and play as well. If any of you see us out there, please screenshot and tell us how we played.
All right,
Kindly.
wonderful. And we will most likely see you soon. Stay safe out there, and yeah, enjoy the game. And thanks
All
for
right.
being with us.
We'll see you in the fog.